programming in Python. This is my tutorial series, and in today's video I will aim to show you the basics of what a beginner can do in Python. And by beginner I'm referring to someone who has literally never done any Python programming, so this will be interesting too. But first we need to install Atom and Python. But if you haven't already installed it, don't worry, you can find a video in the description of this video where I show you how to install both softwares. So let's go ahead once you've installed those and open up install those two pieces of software. You now need to open up idle. We can do this by double tapping this icon, which is going to be in the folder you got when you downloaded Python, as you previously did either from my tutorial video, which is in the description by the way if you accidentally skip that part, or you already have it downloaded. So first thing we need to do is open it. We can do that by double tapping, and then we should see this. This is called a shell, and it's basically where all of the output from our programming comes out of, and it commands Python launcher, as you can see here, to do what? So first of all, we need to create a new program, as you can't code in shell. You can do quickly stuff like, I'll show you something real quick. But you can't save it anywhere. So if you write any code here, it won't be saved. It will be lost. So let's create a new Python program. You can do this by pressing either Command N if you're on a MacBook or Control N if you're on a Windows device. So once you have done that command and you have successfully pressed the right keys, you should see this. This is where we're going to write our program. And the first program we're going to write is a very famous one, as it was one of the first ever Python programs to be written. It is Hello World. I'm just going to quickly write that. And while you copy that down, I will talk to you a bit about this command. So, first of all, in Python there are different types of commands. There are variables, which isn't command, sorry. There are variables, but there is commands such as print, input, and there's all kinds of stuff. The possibilities with Python are nearly endless, as it just matters what you write. Because in programming there's no limits except your own knowledge. So once you have probably written this down, if you do need more time, pause this video. But once you have written that down, we need to save it as something, because we can't test a program without saving it. We can do this by pressing Command S or Control S and saving it as what we want. I'm going to go ahead and save it as Hello World, but you can save it as whatever you want. Now, this is a really important part in saving a Python file. Make sure that the right format is selected. It's probably already going to be there automatically, but if for some reason it's not, then make sure you just press .py to make sure that it's saved in the right format. Because otherwise, if it somehow, which is impossible, but if somehow it's saved as a JPEG, we can do any programming with it. So once you have pressed save, you can now test the program. And we test it by either going to this button that says run and pressing run module, which does the job. However, we can also do this way quicker by doing the FN button and the F5 button. Press them at the same time. Press them at the same time and the program should run. This is a key shortcut in testing this in idle. But if you just feel more comfortable using this, then feel happy to. It doesn't affect your programming. Written your first program. Well done. So, however, we need to see how we can open Atom in case we do big projects. So, first thing we need to do is press the Atom logo, and you can do that by just finding Atom where you downloaded it, and then you should see this screen. You don't actually need any of this. Like, you can close this, and this. You just need this screen. Don't close this. So this is how we open a project. It's really simple and it's pretty much common sense, but I'm just doing it just in case you might not know. So we press open the project, and then you should see this blue button. You can read that, doesn't matter. And then you just have to find it. I have found my file, as you can see here, and I can open it in Atom. And now you might be asking, well, how does that help me? Like, it's nearly the same thing in Idle as in Atom, except the Atom's in dark mode. And by the way, you can get Atom in every color you want. I'm just doing it in dark mode because it's simple. Well, anyway, after you have opened Atom and successfully opened your project, you can now nearly find out all the perks of having a text editor. And some of them is, first, you can go to a GitHub. You can host, not ghost. You can host with GitHub stuff, and you can save it. And you can see, normally in idle, if I would write a really long variable, and I wanted to do something like print variable. You can test this if you want. If I really wanted to do really long variable, I couldn't be bothered to write long variables, so it just does it automatically. 2, as you might have seen, if you put brackets, it automatically uses the close bracket. And this is helpful to save time on the project. But there are really a lot, like functions, and some of this is a bit complicated for a beginner, but that's how you open a project in Atom. Information before this video ends. So I'm now going to tell you a bit about variables and what variables are. So first of all, a variable is a type of memory used for the program. Like, it's not some memory stored on a server or something. It gets changed every time you open and close the program, but it's basically just a bit of memory used. So if I now say call a variable and save it as 12, it is now, if I do print variable, it now prints the value of this variable, which is 12. So let's go ahead and save that, and then open it back into idle, and press the necessary command to start the program. And as you can see, this program prints hello world, which is what we first made it do, and the value of 12, or value of the variable. So this might just seem like a bunch of nonsense, but it's really simple, and there isn't just one type of variable, as variables can be, call it a, variables can be numbers, they can be numbers with decimals in them, and they can also be strings. That's what the basic variables are. And strings are declared by putting question marks around it. Not question marks, sorry. Speech marks around it, as you can see here. And this is basically, it tells the computer that this is a text part of a variable. However, we need to identify what type of variable a variable is, because if I save something as, I'm just going to save it something quick, 2, I can't do for it to do 2 plus 2 with the variable. I can write it as this, but if I want to write 2 plus c, which is my variable, it doesn't work. It gives me an error, as we can't do 2 as a text plus 2 as a number. So just make sure that you're identifying your variables the correct way. And also there is one more type of basic of variable, and this is called the input variable. This is a type of variable where we give it the information to store. So for example, I'm just going to make it quickly as, oh, by the way, you should copy this down for practice because it's good to practice with this kind of stuff. But basically, if you write this command, this type of program that I've just quickly written down here, you should see this as a result. And this, what I need to do now is type G, for example. I just press random key. Once I press enter, it saves the variable as G. So if you then do print G, and if I enter it, after I give it my information, which I'm going to just write quickly. Alright, once I do that and press enter, see, it saves. So I just quickly need to, I just made an error quick, sorry. Once you press the necessary information you want to put in as a variable, it then prints the information you just said, and this is the program for it to do so. So just make sure that you've copied that down and see if it works. And that's just the basics on variables. Variables can get a lot more complicated, but for a beginner, this is basically all you need. Alright, thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more tutorials. I will be doing another video on variables, so make sure you stick around for that.